Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 556. My name is John Morgan, and Cold Coffee is with me back from the Big Apple, chilling out in Manhattan, Madison Square Garden, UFC 322. And you brought that cold weather with you, bro. What'd you do that for? It's cold here in Las Vegas.
Bro, like, it was funny because after I left, I think it dropped like 8 or 10 degrees there. I was like, well, glad I got out of there because I brought a nice, like, outdoorsy sort of jacket, but I didn't bring the normal layers.
Not that
when
heavy
I got
cold.
there, I was like, oh, did I mess up by not bringing the – because normally I would layer something over top of this, and I didn't. I was like, please, weather, don't get there. But yeah, I saw it got colder after we left, and I got back here, and I was like, oh, this feels good. Like, this to me feels good.
It's funny. My wife is like walking. My wife is definitely adapted to Las Vegas weather because she's like, I hate this. We live in Las Vegas, not the Arctic Circle. You know what I mean?
Circle. Oh, my God.
It's like 62 degrees out. No, it's actually a little colder now. We're dipping down in the 50s a little bit. It's a little chilly.
Yeah, I think last night maybe got into the 40s or something.
Yeah.
So, but we've had that precipitation there, and I think that's why now we're getting a weirder sort of like swing. Yeah. It's funny. I was like, is this our second monsoon season of the year? Like, what's going on?
Did you see the video I posted on social media driving down the strip with
the
foot? That was actually pretty funny. So my mom came in town, and so we were running around for a couple of days. Like, we went to Monday Night Football, which was cool. It was my kid's first NFL game. The Cowboys
spanked them,
dude. Looked really good.
Boy, the Raiders are just rough.
Raiders are a rough team right now. Not that the
but I was happy.
Years.
I know the Cowboys aren't doing so great either, but I was happy for you because I was like, wow, that's awesome. Your mom's here. You took everybody there.
So it was a really good time. My mom had a good time. And again, my kid's first NFL game live, and it was the Cowboys and the Raiders. So that was cool. So that's why we picked that game. It seemed like the perfect time to go. I will say, especially in the midst of all this fight-fixing allegations and discussions.
Yeah.
I don't know if you followed this or not, but there was a guy sitting behind me, and there were a couple people that were around us that all got burned by this, right? But the guy sitting behind me got burned bad. He had a 6-leg parlay that the first 5 legs had already hit.
Yep.
The last leg was the game total, and he had to be over 49.5. Well, if you watch the full game, and you might not have because it wasn't competitive at the end, we stayed all the way to the end.
Yeah, no, I turned it off before the end of it.
So yeah, it was locked up, but we were like, hey, we're here, let's stay here.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
What's the use in rushing out, getting stuck in traffic?
Yep.
It's kids' first game. Let's stay. So we stayed the whole way. Well, the Cowboys had the ball late, and they had like a wide open player. I can't remember the receiver that it was. I don't remember if it was Pickens or somebody else. But anyway, just dropped a wide open ball. I mean, literally was wide open, end zone right in front of him, and he just dropped the ball. So they didn't score there, right? So the Raiders get the ball back. Raiders get held to, they have to go for it on 4th down. They're losing by so many points. They give the ball back to the Cowboys because they go 4 and out. And the Cowboys have the ball within like the 10-yard line of the Raiders, and they just kneeled it 4 times. Now, I mean, not that you would. I mean, obviously the victory formation, kneeling, not that you wouldn't do it, but it was funny because the way the time worked, I'm like, even if you kneel it on 4th down, you're still going to have to give the Raiders the ball back. So at that point, don't you just go ahead and kick a field goal or something? Yep. And they didn't. So anyway, they kneeled it all 4 times. And the game total finished at 49 points, and he had to have over 49.5. So the guy behind me loses his 16 parlay on that. There was another dude that was next to us as well. The same thing. They were like, when the guy dropped the ball, and then when they kneeled it 4 times, they're yelling fix. Now, do I think it was? I do not personally. I'm very much a non-conspiracy theory kind of guy. But it was just interesting to see because once you start to see, like, once the little allegations, then all of a sudden you can start looking at everything and you can start reverse engineering and be like, oh, he clearly did this, he clearly did that. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So I thought that was wild, given all the stuff that's kind of happening in our fair sport right now. So,
I can see it. I mean, it's even if you're blowing them out and you're like, oh, it just wouldn't be fair. Like, bro, that was college football.
Right.
You see a lot of times teams would do like that, but in pro,
like, hey, we don't need to run up the score on them. Have some class or whatever.
It's not like you're just tearing through everybody. Like, you want to feel like, guys, we came in here and we kicked butt. Like, just smash them, grind them into the ground. Like, if you got the ball that close, just put points on the board.
Because technically, if you go back and watch it, like the end of the 4th down where they kneel it to give it back to them, there's still like 20 seconds left in the game. Now, the officials to that point, they didn't even make the Raiders run a play. They just let the clock run off. But it was like, if you just turn the ball over with 20 seconds left, like there's still 20 seconds. Like you
Yeah.
have to run a play or something,
Yeah,
and they
at least
didn't.
that's the thing. Just try to run and play
Yeah.
and just get the
So
the clock going. Like,
it was,
it's shady.
yeah, it was interesting. So finish for it. So anyway, so we did that. That was fun. Then the next day, but and it was wanted to go through all that. Talk about the rain that we got. 'Cause
Yeah.
we got a lot of rain.
A lot of rain.
It doesn't rain here very much. We
Yeah.
got a lot of rain, but it was kind of cool because we were running around town. Showing my mom some things and just kind of hanging out with the day. Actually, I took my kid out of school on Tuesday just because his grandmother's not here very often. You know what I mean? So we let him skip school, and
Yeah.
we ran and had lunch and took her to the where we were driving. When I posted that video, we were driving actually to the F1 arcade over at Caesar's Palace.
Well, you're all about that thing now. Well, I know Eli likes it.
Eli likes it. Yeah, that F1 arcade is cool, by the way. If you happen to be coming to town, and I mean it's not cheap, but it's a really nice place.
What's it cost?
Well, I think like for like an hour, it's like $40 or something. So that part's not super expensive, but the drinks and stuff, like the drinks are straight up like strip prices, like $20 a cocktail or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you can have like a one.
Pass.
Yeah, my mom had a Bloody Mary. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm just gonna have a water. Like I ain't paying $20 a drink down here. Like my conscience won't let me do it. But anyway, that's what we were driving. So we were driving down the strip to get to Caesar's Palace. And the water had built up so much, and we were on. And I whipped out my phone. I'm like, "This is crazy! Like, how many times in life are you going to be driving down an F1 track and there's flooded water on it?" So I thought it was kind of a cool little video. But
yeah, I'm sure those walls didn't help
help
with the drainage, and especially because remember they fused all those pipes and all the manholes and stuff. Anywhere it can drain, I'm sure it's not.
It's so
it's
funny
just not draining.
I know you and you will not find a local that loves F1 being here, right? Like maybe even if they're the most. I mean, I guess if you're a huge F1 fan, you do.
I've seen a few that are just like, I love the race. When it gets down there, I'm like, well, all right, there's 5 of you.
The construction is so inconvenient. It's rough, but. The timing of it, man, like all three, like we have gorgeous weather, and all 3 years, by the time you get to late November, it's cold here, you know what I mean? And they do the race at night, so it's not like during the day. Like I'm looking outside. If there was a race going on right now, it's nice. It's like 60 degrees outside, but man, you do it at night, you got to have a jacket on out there. It's cold out there. It's been rainy. So I don't know if they've got any flexibility in the schedule to move it around, but
it's still all about the international viewing market. I mean, so like it's always going to be at the mercy of whatever some other international time zone, you know. So I think it's always either going to be at some crappy little time. I mean, I do understand like some of the things that you see some of the properties that are close to it are offering, like, because I get notifications of like, oh hey, come look at these F1 testing meals and all these like things at these restaurants, because they'll have like a window that you could view out, and so you could buy these big F1 course meals or whatever. And I get the people that are getting behind some of that things, and that's the kind of stuff you can't market like, hey, you want a strip view, we're going to charge you this X amount of thing. But if you do it with the F1 or whatever, I can see where certain things are doing it. But for the most part, no. I mean, like, it's always going to be late at night. You know, the fans sit there for hours to watch a car zoom by immediately quick. They're paying overpriced, stuff. And some people just absolutely love it. So, I mean, like, if you are a race fan, regardless of whatever it's going to do, I think you're going to like it. So I think the people that live here, they're diehard race fans, but it's F1 race fans.
Right.
You tell a NASCAR boy about the F1, I think most of them appreciate the fact that it's a car sport,
right? But
most of them are just like, what's with turning all the other directions? We go one direction. We only turn left, But it's just different. I think it's a pricier, fancier clientele, but
Definitely.
It's just not marketed for the everyday American.
And
at
those
that
ticket
hour,
prices.
yeah.
Woo-wee.
And if it's late here, just think about somebody on the East Coast that wants to watch it. They're literally doing like what we give praise to all the Europeans.
It'd be starting at 11 p.m.
in the middle of nowhere, just like trying to watch, and then the event ends, 2 a.m. or something for them or something. It's just like whatever. But I mean, I know people coming in town. People do come in town to work the event, So I'm glad that it's bringing people in for whatever. Be nice if the people only lived here, since they're the ones mainly affected. But that being said, Yeah, it'll never be my favorite thing. It's just such a hassle for so long, and I just don't see the payout for
I
the
don't
overall.
either, man. For us as Vegas
know,
residents, I don't see that it generates
you
as
know.
much revenue. Like when the Super Bowl was here, you could see like the amount of people that were
Yeah.
in town. The Strip was just flooded with people,
Yeah.
teeming with people, parties everywhere. You could feel the economic impact that was
Yeah,
being made.
and
All
you
the
weren't
restaurants
priced
were
out.
full.
I feel like you get priced out for a lot of stuff with the F1 and stuff.
So you're 100% right. My kid is getting into F1. He likes it. I'm not a big F1 fan, but obviously your kid likes something. You want to help support him, right? So we've talked about going to the race. We've actually looked at it. It would actually be cheaper for us as a family to fly to Mexico or Brazil and buy tickets to one of those F1 races, including the hotel, including the flights, including everything.
That's
it would be
crazy.
cheaper to fly away than to try to buy tickets here.
That's crazy.
Is that not nuts?
That makes no effing
don't
sense
get it, man.
in the world. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, anyway, that's this weekend. I will be watching on Saturday night.
But it was cool. I mean, in the sense of watching like your rain video,
That was
because
pretty
you
cool.
could see you definitely saw along the
Yeah.
sides. You're like, okay, yeah, that looks like the F1 track,
Yeah.
So I guess that was kind of cool.
It was funny.
you know?
I was just driving down the road and like I was really just you know me. I'm not like the biggest like content guy or whatever. I was like, this is cool. Like
Yeah.
you're never gonna get a chance to do shit like this. Like it doesn't even flood that much here in Vegas, and to be flooding in Vegas and to be on the
Well, it's not on the
F1
high.
strip,
Yeah, I was about to
think-
call it High Street, but I mean, like there was excess flooding in other places
it was
on the
definitely
outside.
and it was definitely because of the walls. Because obviously it
Yeah.
puts everything.
Puts
It was
everything
funny
in.
because my mom was like, would they still race in the rain? I'm like. Well, if it was raining a little bit, I mean,
little
they
bit.
still would. But I'm like, if it was pooling like it was when we were driving that
They would
day,
just hydroplane right
Yeah,
to the
you'd
wall.
hydroplane.
They're so low to the ground, which is
Yeah.
just amazing how the design. But we've seen how temperamental those vehicles are. Like they just get tore up if they hit something. I can imagine trying to go that fast and hit a little wall of water. Done. There's no way that car is going to go. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly an interesting thing. But yeah, I mean, the cars, it's neat. It's really cool.
It looks
the
cool.
technology. It
When
does
they're
look
driving
cool.
200 miles an hour down the strip at night with all the lights on,
Yeah.
it looks cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
When they're driving around the sphere, part of the track goes around the sphere. When they're driving 170 miles down a Spring Mountain, which you can barely get to like 20 on because
Yeah.
of the traffic that's always there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they had a really cool poster or something I saw on one of their sites, and it was like out on the highway, and you saw Las Vegas way off in the distance, and I was just like, dude, that's where you should go. Like, we could literally
You go out in the desert, like-
you could just let loose, bro. I mean, I know the roads will never be the quality of whatever, but I was like, if you want to really see the backdrop and just see some of the other stuff, and you're not going to affect anybody, just build a fucking track
like
out
just
there.
shut down a stretch of I-15 and let them just be like
Yeah.
running out in the desert out
I
there.
mean, now it's half the time it's being used as a excess runway when all these planes have been using lately. We've had like 2 or 3 that have had that happen.
to land on the
recently.
highway.
I'm just like, so why not? Just use it. It's an all-purpose highway.
Oh, that's good, man. All right, last thing was the family stuff. My wife and kid actually went and saw Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. Both of them.
Wizard of Oz.
I didn't
I was
go.
thinking of the Wiz, the Wizard, the movie that's coming out.
Me and
Wicked, sorry.
For the price of it. That's why I always tell people
It's
about
not
the Sphere.
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. So like they bought, I think they set in the 200 section for the Wizard of Oz, and it was like $140 a seat.
I was going to say roughly about 150.
Yeah, it's about 140. So this is what I always tell people: if you've never been to the Sphere and you're coming to Vegas and you're looking at it and you're like, if you look at it and you're like, man, $140 to watch a movie, like,
Yep.
can't do it. It's too
Yep.
expensive. If you look at it as like $140 to buy a ticket to a Vegas show, which you would at a lot of the high end shows or whatever, then you start to justify a little bit. And it is. To me, it's a Vegas show. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. I think my mom was like blown away. Obviously, it was her first time in the Sphere. Danielle has been in the Sphere several times, but even she was like, it was super cool because they have like all the. I'm sure you've seen the social media clips. Like there's wind blowing when there's a hurricane, and there's like
the apples falling down
apples
from the tree, and they got the monkeys flying around.
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's unique. You're not getting anything like it.
I mean, I guess there is the thing of like when you pay the prices, and I always say like the high end shows down there, you're paying a lot of those prices for all those performers.
Yes.
Like that are risking their lives. Are there performers in this? No, but the production value that they took to do this, and I would just tell people, it's not like you're going and just watching The Wizard of Oz on the Sphere. It's been changed to fit the Sphere. And it's been altered, so it's not going to feel like the exact same movie because it's not the exact same movie. There's been parts that have been added, but the general storyline is there.
Yep.
So you're going for a different Wizard of Oz. Like, don't think you're like, oh man, I'll just wait till it comes out in my movie theater. It's not the same, and they're not just dropping apples. It's a whole different reformatting and sort of a recreation. Even the music It went back and revisited the music, and so the
Yep.
music that's added
Re-recorded
was recorded
everything.
it differently, so it would be, emphasized the best there in the thing. So it is a production, but it is a lot of money. I wanted to really go see it, but yeah, I mean, when I looked at the price, I was like, man, even if it was like 99, I think I'd be more inclined
That
to
150
do it.
was
But when you start getting 150, because then I'm thinking like, okay, if I was going to or if I was going to one of the Cirque shows, you're seeing 100 performers on stage. I understand where my dollar is going.
right.
But I
That's an
do
interesting
know
way to
that,
put it.
the Sphere. I know the Sphere. And you see it every once in a while. As much as the Sphere is just one of this
Still
mind-blowing
losing
thing,
money.
it's losing money.
Yep.
So I get it. You go and you do these ventures or whatever. You need to make money. So I don't fault them for that, because if they price it too low, they're still never going to make that deficit. And if they're pricing right now and they're still like operating at a loss, I want that to work. I mean, like, I don't think anybody would ever say, I want this Sphere to fail.
No.
Like, it's iconic. It's huge.
amazing.
It works so well within Vegas. It's such a cool aspect, and it's such a neat thing. So I hope that they kind of shore up those finances, and I'm not sure where the hemorrhaging is, but any new startup like that, you figure there's going to be a loss initially going forward.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's getting better and better, and we can see something happen. But yeah, when I think of like Vegas shows, I want to see the production value and I want to see the scale. But I do think I'm more inclined to pay $150 if I know that I see a bunch of theater performers or artisans jumping across the stage, and some of the shit that they do is literally life-threatening. Like,
Cirque du Soleil stuff is amazing.
It's amazing. Like,
Yep.
that, I'm like, they deserve it.
Yep.
Like that. So I don't know. It was just a little tough, but I mean, it'd be one thing too. I think if the Wizard of Oz were like, there's 30 days, you have 30 days to possibly see this. Pay the money, see the show. This is going to be around for a little while,
long
and it can
time.
always come back. So I'm like,
I think
so
I was-
part of me is holding out that the price comes
I get
down.
it, man. I was in the same boat because my wife was like, I bet your mom would love to go. And like, she's
Yep.
never been to the Sphere, and so I was like,
And
you
it's
know
a
what?
unique one. That makes a lot of sense.
That's it.
For that.
And so
it's a special occasion.
So my wife was like, look, I'll pay for my ticket, and I was like, okay, I'll pay for my mom's ticket. But then I was like, Eli didn't really want to go. I'm sure he would if we bought him a ticket. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
then I started thinking about it like, for me and Eli, who are only like kind of halfway interested in it, to add
Yep.
another $320, bucks or whatever, like,
It's expensive.
Yeah, so we just went and
Yeah.
had a beer.
And it's a
at
nice
Pizza
little
Rock.
moment for them. They can kind of go out and
Yeah,
just do
they
their
had
own
a
little thing. That's
little
good.
girls thing, and
Little
we had
girls
a
thing.
little guys thing. So
Yep.
so that was good. So I had that going on. Also, man, so my dad had a heart attack. Oh, yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. He's okay, man. It was crazy. So my dad's birthday was this past weekend as well, and I was actually trying to stop when I was going to go to Madison Square Garden. I was actually going to try to stop in Dallas on the way back.
Yep.
To surprise him, because they put together like a party for him and everything, because it was his birthday on Monday, so they had a big like barbecue and friends over on Sunday.
Shit.
So I was going to try, but bottom line is I couldn't. I ended up canceling my Madison Square Garden trip anyway, but I couldn't find any like flights that weren't like insanely expensive. That would allow me to like have a layover in Dallas, like maybe rent a car and run down. I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, I was like, oh man, that's kind of bummed I didn't make. But anyway, he had his whole party and everything was great. And he said it was like one of the coolest, like, friends and family and all that. Amazing day. And then that night, started having like chest pains. Yeah, like real pressure on his chest. And I guess he had one of his arteries was blocked like 100%. But they operated on him, like they flew him, care flighted him, operated him. Like he's already back home. That was Monday. Like he's already back home. Obviously recovering a little bit, feeling a little bit, but yeah. So it's been this past. I feel like this past week has been like a month all packed into one, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had the Madison Square Garden event, and then I had my mom coming in town, and we had the game, and we had all this. But in the midst of that, I find out my dad is hurting, and obviously that hits you hard. And then you know what I mean, all this stuff, and he's good now, thankfully. Gonna have some recovery, or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm glad.
been
That's good
crazy.
to hear.
Yeah, that's not
Good to hear.
I'm fortunate. I still have both my parents, which is
Yeah.
fortunate. But yeah, that's not fun when you start hearing that stuff, man.
No, not at all. I mean, it kind of puts it all into perspective. But man, you got to give it up to modern science and medicine. Like, how can you have a heart attack, full 100% blockage, and then they're like, okay, I think we've observed you enough. You can go home and
That's
rest
it.
now. Like, really?
I was like, what a blessing that is, because he lives like he still is in Dallas, but kind of out in the I wouldn't say the country, but like on the outskirts, right?
They just took him into Dallas, right?
Yes, but yeah, so like he literally, so I think I don't know in fact I don't even know what time it was, but it was in the evening. I know that. So that's amazing to you go to your local hospital. Like, so they went to like their local hospital. The local hospital was like, no, you need to go to the big hospital downtown.
Wow.
So they care flighted them over there. So I mean, all that modern technology. Here you go. We'll helicopter you over here real quick, and then to have a surgeon on ready, which I'm sure they just have them on standby or something.
Yeah, especially
but,
on the big, like a big city like that.
Yeah,
They're
to
probably
have
like,
just a surgeon ready to go in the middle of the night. Like, hey, let's throw you up on this table and get this locked down. They put a stent in the artery or whatever and open it up, and they had him observing him for like a day or two just to make sure there was no. But they were like, yeah, you're good to go.
And even some of that stuff, they can go in like in multiple places. It's not like I think back in the day, you used to always have to either go through the chest or whatever.
Right.
Now they can go in different parts of your body and just run that shit through, and you're just like, how?
Crazy?
How does that
Crazy.
fucking work? But everything's all connected to the fucking heart. It's just when you think of it like that, you just got to find the closest pathway that's easy, where there's, and I think that's what helps make that recovery quicker, rather than open up his chest, because you don't have to like
open your
them
chest
up.
up.
Yeah, you'd have to open them up, and so now it's unreal if they can either find out what the proper path of the blockage, and can we go to that blockage through a different route, and it's just like, I think they either go through like the fucking arm or somewhere else up in your fucking chest or something.
Crazy, man.
But no, I'm glad to hear that. Boy, that kind of puts a dampener on the fucking weekend. That was cool. I mean,
it was kind of hard to be like, all right, now let's try to have some fun, know. But hearing that he was okay, it was one of those ones too. It was weird. I was like Sunday night, I didn't really sleep that well, and for whatever reason, I was kind of waking up all night long.
Yeah.
Like at one point, it was like 5 a.m. and I was awake, and my text went off, and it was my stepmom, and she was like, John, give me a call when you can, and just like, it's like one of those ones you just know, you know what I mean? Like you're getting a text message from your stepmom at 5 a.m. in the morning, like, give me a call when you can. Fortunately, I was up, so I called her right then. But like, just as soon as you saw it, you were just like, I know what this is about. You know what I mean? Like, I know this ain't good.
Yeah, she's not just getting your thoughts on Christmas presents
right
at 5 in the
yeah, right. Hey,
she'll wait.
Looking ahead to Christmas, and I was thinking about putting something.
Has Eli changed much? This is what I'm thinking. Like,
it's not that at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
it's not that at 5 a.m. on Monday morning. Oh, it's so funny. I had a sinking feeling, man. It was But anyway, he's good now.
That's
he's
good.
Better, so.
That's good.
UFC 322, we mentioned it. Didn't make the trip out to Madison Square Garden. I know you were out there all week long. Obviously, we won't break down the whole event. I will say it was a weird one, right? Because there was a lot of highlights on the night, right? A lot of really fun fights. Obviously, for me personally and the whole CFFC family, those early prelims were awesome, right?
You guys almost had a clean sweep of the night.
Fatima Klein is going to be a problem.
She's incredible.
At 25 years old, she's going to be a problem.
She's great on the mic.
She's great, right? She's got personality. She's awesome. Pat Sabatini.
Sabatini showed up big.
Showed up big, man. Because I'm telling you right now, and I don't think I'm speaking out of school here to say this, there were times where that eye damage that he had at the end of round 2 would have totally broke his focus, his concentration. You know what I mean? Like, he would get distracted. And I was like, I saw him go back to the stool at the end of round 3. And, he protested a little bit. He was like, hey, he stuck his finger in my eye. And obviously you could see it on the replay. But I was like, dude, he's going to lose focus. And he did. And he came back and rebounded hard in third. So that was great. And then Kyle Dawkins, obviously, the return of Kyle Dawkins, incredible.
Kyle Dawkins, I almost feel like we can't even just call him 2.0, because I feel like we've seen him resurge again and again. That was incredible. That was just ridiculous.
That 3-pack right in a row of back-to-back results. By the way, we were having a great time. It was so funny. CM Punk was actually, I guess, free on Saturday night because he started chiming in on our little text message. Sometimes he does, sometimes. But he had no clue that all those guys were fighting. He's like, look, Fatima's fighting, and he's like, wait, Sabatini's next? And then we were like, bro, we got Dawkins after that too. I'm like, Punk. I was like, it is amazing to me that you can just sit down on a Saturday night, and he's a huge fight fan, you know what I mean? But he's so busy that he doesn't even know what the lineup is. He's just like, well, I'm here. I want to watch me some fights. And it happened to be all the CFFC guys. So that was kind of funny to see that. But then Aaron Blanchfield showed up big against Tracy Cortez.
Well, she looked incredible.
She looked amazing. And it was all teeing up towards Sean Brady. And, you and I said going in, and I think you laid it out, man. Like, that out of the 5 is definitely the toughest of the bunch by far. Michael Morales, that dude. Dude, I honestly would have no problem with them giving him a title shot next. Like, that dude is good.
To do that to Brady, I love that Sean wanted to try to throw hands. And he had a couple shots that made sense, but it just takes one from Morales, and I just wish he would have tried to do some level changes there. But, when you saw the size difference of them,
jarring.
I almost changed my pick right away. I was like, I forgot how big he was compared to most guys in that division. And then I saw it and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give Brady a chance because, man, that dude's just so fucking good. He's just so good. And then I was like, and then as the fight started going, I'm like, okay, he's landing some shots, okay. But then I was like, but you were just waiting for that shot that you knew that could come. And when you did, you were just like, holy cow, dude. Morales, he's the complete package. There was a huge Ecuadorian media presence there specifically because
in the media day and
this
the post
kid has
fight.
every capability of just being huge. He's already getting that, down south of the border.
Yep.
But in the States, I think people are starting to, he shows up and he's got that big giant pink fur. He's just looking the part. Now you go and put these performances. And now the Spanish-speaking people can understand what he's saying, so that's half of our population right there.
Huge
and once he bridges that gap to the English-speaking, people are going to literally be like, Morales needs the shot. Morales needs the shot. I think they understand what they're getting with him.
Yep.
He just hasn't become as big here as he's going to be. But, dude, I think if anybody had any questions, and a lot of people went to – who had the most? Carlos Prates had an incredible performance against a former champ, but a lot of people are like, which did you like better? And that's almost a tough decision, because Morales was just so clearly better than Brady this night, whereas at least Prates had a bit of a fight on his hand. But then he was a whole different thing. The faces he was making, you're just
the
like,
faces he was making as he's in the clinch and getting punched in the head was amazing.
I was just like, oh, don't. I was like, don't showboat too much because you're still have your back taken, buddy.
Yep.
It's like not like he's just like hits you and while you're standing and you smile and then you hear the announcer like, oh, he's smiling. It's because he feels him. Like the face was so genuinely like, this is boring. I thought we were going to fight.
It was great. I loved it.
And I was just like, this is incredible. But it's between these two, like for some of the people that are, trying to steal that next shot. And Morales, his performance, bro, I think when we saw him, he first splashed on the screen, I think we said that this guy has the future potential being a champ, and this just made it even much more so clear.
The future is now, right? You know what I mean? Like, it is cool. I saw Ian Machado Gary talking about it this week in Qatar, where it's like, now granted, I did not like the rankings that came out with Prates ahead of Ian Machado Gary. That made no sense to me whatsoever. Obviously,
but again, it's a weekly thing. He's got a fight right now, and he'll just flip right back over.
So I didn't like that, but what Gary said is right. Like, it is cool to see because that welterweight division, and again, I'm not trying to insult any of the guys, but it's just been those same names for a decade up at the top of the division, and now you got all these fresh names and matchups, and I will say, man, and I will say, and we'll talk about UFC Qatar in a second too. If you watch that media day as well with Ian Machado Gary, dude, when the name Shavkat gets brought up, and you'll see Ian, I'm hearing so many bad things, like this dude might never fight again, which is crazy.
Shavkat?
Yes.
Really?
That's what I'm. And again, I'm not hearing it from his camp, but I'm hearing it from a lot of people.
Injuries?
Injuries and some personal things and some, so and you hear Ian's. I think Ian's words were, "I hear he might not be fighting anytime soon," and that's the way I've kind of been saying it too. Because again, they're kind of rumors more than anything. But when you keep hearing rumors from different places and people, you know what I mean? It's all sharing the same thing. Like, that would be a damn shame because that's one of those names that we were all so excited about. So, you got Shavkat, you got Morales, you got Prates, you got Machado Gary, and Sean Brady. I think he'll still be around. He'll still have some big fights ahead of him.
He's got to work back to that.
Just put him way back. Yeah, he's not in the title discussion.
And the thing about Gary, and tell me if I'm wrong, he's still saying I would fight Shavkat. And I think that's the difference between the other cats. Nobody's calling Shavkat's name. Nobody's asking for that.
I like Ian.
So I like that Ian Gary's doing that, So, as much as people will say about whatever, he's going out there, he's delivering fights, and he's asking for fights that nobody wants.
Right.
I will tell you, one other name in that top 15 that doesn't want anything to do with any of these cats, as much as he might try to say, is your boy, Colby Covington. Covington does not want anything to do with Prates. He does not want anything to do with Michael Morales, and he certainly doesn't want anything to do with Rakhmonov. And I don't think he wants to do anything with Gary too. And but that's a name. I'm like, I know he fought last year, even though it feels like he hasn't fought in 3 years, or this year. But bro, Covington, he should not be on that list anymore.
It's ancient history what's happened between me and him, and I always hate to even discuss it because but
why are you getting on the ground and doing? Are you doing push-ups right now? What are you doing? Colby, he just did.
Man.
He just did 10 pushes right now. I was trying to stop him, and he just did them.
It's funny when I meet people or I run into people. Like, people will ask me, like, "What's up with you and Colby?" And I still have to always tell them, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I literally have no idea what happened. Especially given that I had such a good relationship with him ahead.
I mean, it was all on one side.
Yeah, it was all one side.
It's one-sided.
But because of that, I always hated it. But I will say this: when I looked at my welterweight rankings this week in the latest vote, I took him out.
Yeah.
I took him out.
I
took
just
him out of the top
double-checked it.
15.
So he didn't even fight this year.
Yeah.
He fought in December of 2024, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's lost 4 out of his last 6 fights.
And the wins are over 2 guys that are retired, in Jorge Masvidal and Tyron Woodley. And again, not disrespect. Yep. I mean, those were quality wins, of course. They
at
are
the time,
quality opponents.
At those times, yes, it certainly was.
But you're talking about 2020 and 2022, and both of them are retired at this point. So I took him out of my top 15. I don't know.
We just saw what happened to Leon Edwards. He lost to Leon Edwards, and we saw what happened to Joaquin Buckley. Like, bro, he doesn't want anything to do with those top guys. As much as he might say it because he's going to get paid and he has enough name value right now. But that right there is a name that, if he's not active, just drop him out of the rankings. Because he doesn't want to fight those guys, and he needs to fight those guys to stay relevant. But, yeah, at this point, if you haven't fought in a year, you shouldn't be in the top 15. Not when you have 2 losses. When you look at the dudes that are in the top 15.
Especially with a division that does have fresh names, that is moving, that is, heavyweight, you might be able to make an excuse because there's just not very many of them. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of talent in that division. So, anyway, interesting times at 170 pounds. We'll see how it all shakes out. Obviously, we'll figure out more about that, and we'll talk about UFC Qatar in just a moment. Between then and now,
Qatar.
Is it? I say Qatar. Is it? But some people say Qatar.
It's supposed to be Qatar. Yeah, because and we're not. That's the English. I guess what I've heard is the best English way of saying, but it's like a gutter.
Yeah,
is like gutter is like the proper, or even more so. But I think they'll take Qatar, but it's not cater at all.
At all.
Like it's more. That's why when somebody was joking, they're like, "Oh, they missed the boat when they didn't put, Calvin Cater in Cater." I'm like, "It's not Cater." Like even if you just try to do pronunciation,
Calvin,
but yeah, I want to say
Cater and Cutter
because it's the pronunciation is not from our vocal sort of system.
Sounds
it's more like
we're not used to, like some like Russian things. They don't really have like an exact.
But I think
translation.
they would appreciate Cutter or whatever. But I want to say it's more like gutter.
Sounds like everybody's having a good time over there, right? Everybody's enjoying it and seeing.
Oh, you're talking about Oscar Willis? Oh yeah, of course he is. No, I'm just kidding.
Oscar's having some cocktails, I'm sure. No, I just basically like I guess because I did watch the media day and everybody was being asked about it, of course. And of course,
supposedly just beautiful and incredible over there, and they're being like the people there are treating them like extremely well. Yeah. They're giving fighters the utmost respect. So no, I haven't heard or seen anything of fighters saying like this is a pain in the butt. It's a hell of a bit of travel. I mean, like any of those fights over there, it takes so much time. But most of the guys that are on there have done the right thing, it seems, and went out early, got acclimated, and that's going to make all the difference. I think anybody that just showed up on Tuesday is probably going to have a little bit more of an issue. But
well, what if they show up today or tomorrow morning, like Waldo Cortez Acosta?
Waldo's a different beast.
What a stud, right,
dude? And he even said, I think the last time, he's like, take a short notice, but he's like, no, my next fight, I need it to be a full fight camp, and it's like,
or I can just jump on a plane in like 30 minutes notice and fly halfway around the world.
What a stud.
I love it.
What a stud. I mean,
tough fight.
Yeah.
Tough fight. I mean, tough matchup just stylistically, even with the full camp, it's a tough matchup. But you know what, man? I respect the hell out of it. You know what I mean? The UFC is going to appreciate it. Again, we just kind of touched on it. It's not like heavyweight's so deep that if you take a loss, you're way back in the pack or whatever. But, no risk, no reward. If you step in here and you get a win, like, oh, my gosh, to the moon. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So, I don't know. I respect the hell out of him for doing it. I don't know if I'd pick him or not. But
I did actually take him. I was taking Gaziev against Spivak, but, man, I'm gonna ride the high that, because I did not pick him against Dillia.
Right.
I thought Dillia was just gonna have his way with him, and then he showed so much heart, so much character. So as long as his eye is legit okay, now I feel like I think the adrenaline and just him riding this momentum is just going to give him an extra boost going into a place that he wasn't supposed to be. I think just rising to that occasion. This is a cat that I think has every capability of doing it. I mean, as long as it doesn't become just like this grind out wrestling thing. And what we saw him last time, like he's able to get up a little bit,
Yep.
you know. But I think he's just going to show some power. But it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. But
Now, are you picking him because your lead is so large that you don't worry about that you
well,
don't even worry?
Yeah, I still do worry. I still do worry. And it's kind of interesting, yeah, because I was taking, his opponent before this fight switched up. But I mean, you take and you sub in the hot hand guy right now that seems to be just firing on all cylinders. It would be silly just to stick with my other pick and think that the short notice fight, because he performed well in the short notice fight. The main thing I'd be worried about is just the travel and other stuff. But he's not cutting.
Right.
He's not cutting any crazy amount of weight. So he just literally needs to be refreshed and he needs to just get acclimated. He's going to be fighting at a weird time in the night, so there's always that. That is something where I think it does take some time. If there is an acclimation, it is that, because we've heard guys before getting up in the middle of the night and starting to train and do things to, do that. But at the end of the day, it's a fist fight. Your adrenaline gets pumping. So whether he's been waking up for 3 nights or 4 nights as opposed to maybe 1 night or whatever, I think his adrenaline's going to kick in there, and the gravity of how big this situation is and what he's able to do for his name. I mean, fighting one back in the rankings, but jumping in short notice, and the fact that the UFC is looking at him and saying, "Can you come in here and save this fight?" It goes good for him, because I think if anything, next thing you know, it's like you did us a square. Next thing you know, Apex headliner, blah, blah, boom. Thank you very much. And I think that's the stuff he's envisioning in his mind. So, and this is the fight. Should it not go his way, I don't think he loses ground. Like you said, it's not like he's going to drop a lot, but in the eyes of the people that matter, which is the UFC. They're thanking him for this. This is a no loss situation for him.
It's a bad comparison because he's still on an upward trajectory now. But I always think about like Andre Arlovski late in his career, right? Like Andre took so many matchups that were not favorable matchups, that were not, you know what I mean, that they were under bad circumstances, but he never said no, and because of that, obviously Andre had some name value as a former champion. People knew him. But bottom line is, he was a dude that would show up and fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, under any circumstances, whatever you needed to do. And because of that, he got paid very, very well for a very, very long time. You know what I mean? And so Waldo Cortez Acosta is still on the rise right now. But, I mean, as you said, the people that matter, the UFC matchmakers, Hunter, Dana, those guys, if you're doing solids for them, like, and I know everybody likes to criticize the UFC, and I get it. It's not like they're perfect in their business operations, but when you do them stuff like that, like, you do find yourself all of a sudden getting some nice favors on the backside as well, because they know you're a company guy, man. We can count on you. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. Dude, and I mean, I'm doing it on a much more minuscule level, but keeping cards together is hard. You know what I mean? Injuries happen all the time, and you need to have fights, and then you start calling people on short notice, and everybody's I'm not available. Blah, blah. So when a guy's like, I got to get to the airport right now. Yeah, I got to pack my bags to make sure I got at least an hour, and then I'm on. You know what I mean? Like, that does a lot, man. That does a lot.
And I mean, he's doing it. His fighting's doing the talking, and he's doing the talking. The fact, like the last time we saw him, his English had got to the point where we pretty much did the interview in English. I was like, he's literally doing everything to set himself up to just go higher and higher and higher in the rankings, and higher in the fan favor. And I think going in there and putting another fun fight on this and saving the fight, the fans are going to appreciate it. And if he's able to go in there and take this win in enemy territory and put on a big show, like, bro, I guarantee his next fight will be a headline at like the Apex, unless there's just another pay-per-view somewhere close where he wants to fight.
Right.
But I think he's going to be on. Well, I guess pay-per-views are done. He's not going to be on. He'll be on a feature show.
It's going to take a while to get that out of my vocabulary, because I've said that a couple times too, where I've said something, and people are like, I thought there were no pay-per-views anymore. I'm like, sorry.
I don't know what we call them.
It's numbered events now is the terminology you're supposed to use. The numbered events. It's going
to
take a while.
They're all numbered. This is UFC Fight Night 265, I think, by our numbering, But yeah, I mean, like, they're big tentpole events or something, So it'll be interesting. It's funny. We were talking about offline before we started about different AI tools, and I was like trying to just ask random AI stuff, and this is completely out of left field. As much as people are excited talking about the White House card, I was trying to ask if there was negative what is there negative connotations outside? Are the general population upset that the White House is trying to put on a UFC event? And a lot of the results came back is that there is general negativity outside of the hardcore fans of MMA and fighters. Nobody's happy that this is happening
Really?
at the White House. They just see it as another
Waste of money.
I can see other
that.
stuff.
I could see that of like because
I know Dana's like, we're going to spend all this money to replace the lawn after
Right.
we did destroy the lawn, but in terms of like, there's not supposed to be like tickets sold or whatever kind of stuff so it's like, all right, these are the same people that crap on the Apex cards, and now it's going to be at another place and with this backdrop that you can't see. Granted, the backdrops are going to be a lot
Backdrop's
different.
gonna be amazing.
But that being said, the cost of all the extra security and stuff at the White House and everything they're going to do, it's going to be a huge cost that's going to get pushed off, not onto the UFC, but on the general population. And I think that's where some people like at a time when all this stuff's going on. And we're so in the bubble that I was just like, I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, will I work? And I was like, whatever. So yeah, I know that's out of left field, but it was just one of those things because we haven't really talked about the actual other. What do people outside of us?
I hadn't thought about that, but you're so right about it. Because now, I guess it should be stated, and again, you know me and knowing what the government policies, I don't know, but it is part of a bigger, the 250 celebration, right? So it's not like
even though it's on his birthday, not on the actual 250th celebration.
So it's not just
it's adjacent.
It's
250th celebration adjacent.
There's going to be other big events and big things, right? So it's not just they settle, but that is a fair criticism, right? Of just like if somebody wanted to sit back and be like, is this really the best use of government funds right now, given everything that's happening in the world? Like, I mean, I'm excited to go and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
And, that sort of stuff.
It's funny because I haven't asked my family. Have you asked have you talked to like your mom or any of them? See, we're so in the bubble.
Yeah.
We just talk to other media people, and we're just like, oh, would you work it? Are you trying to work it?
Yeah.
Who's going to be on the card? Who's whatever?
Yeah.
I never thought to ask my family, what do you guys think about it? And that usually gives me the general barometer. And I think the next time I talk with my mom and them, if they know, I'm like, hey, have you heard about this talk? Like, what do you guys think? Just to see what they think. But I'd be interested, anybody listening to this you guys are obviously hardcores. You're inside the bubble. But do you have random people off the side? What do they think about it? Because I'm interested.
And I would say to clarify that, like, I know there's a lot of people that will say they don't like it simply because they don't like Trump. Yeah. I think we're separating ourselves from that and saying dissociate anything to do with the actual man, Donald Trump. Are you upset that the U.S. government is spending tax dollar money on? Because the UFC is getting money.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the UFC is. It's not like the UFC is like, hey, you know what? We want to do this event so bad. We don't need a site fee. We don't need any promotional considerations. We don't. It's all coming out of our pocket. We'll handle all this. You just tell us how much it costs.
Yeah.
No.
They're
getting money.
This is not like a team showing up to celebrate their victory and they're getting served McDonald's in the whatever room. I say McDonald's because they used to have meals or whatever, but. That's different. For somebody says, like, if anybody tries to say, oh, well, it's just like when they have sports teams and they win their championships, come there, they're opening their doors to sports teams. This is not the same thing.
Not the same.
That would be like saying, hey, Raiders, you want to instead of playing the Browns here in town next week, how about we just set up on the White House lawn and play a game there? It's not the same thing.
Not the same.
So
it's interesting.
It's definitely catering to a private organization, to a sporting organization in a building that's kind of always been exalted as our capital of our government.
Mm-hmm.
That's regardless of all what's happened, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. So I know a lot of other people think it's just like a waste of government resources at a time when we shouldn't be doing it, but we're so in the bubble. We're like, well, we gonna work it or not? I want to work that event.
I want to be there.
I want to be there.
I'll tell you right now, I want to be there. We'll see. I guess we don't even know what kind of media they're going to allow, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know kind of what that's going to look like. But.
I mean, you couldn't get pre-check for a while. They might just nip you right in the bud.
Is it true that you got turned down for pre-check? Like,
yeah. You're like, that was like 10 years ago.
Long time ago.
That was a long
time ago. I got it now. I'm a changed man.
You're a reformed man.
I'm a reformed man. Well, we will monitor that over there. I really do. I am really interested in just seeing all the developments of 2026 and like how do things look on. We've talked about it a lot, and we'll have to patiently wait for it to play out. But how do things look on Paramount? How does that change the way cards are constructed? Like, do you want to spread the talent out a little bit? As stacked as that card was at Madison Square Garden the other night, do you need a card to be that stacked if you're not trying to sell pay-per-views? I don't know. I was talking to Eric McMahon about this. Like, does it change at all the percent, because a lot of times when we talk about title fights, right? We talk, we all know that title fights are not just merit based in the UFC, right? But for the longest time, they were like, well, so and so, maybe deserves it, but I don't know how they'll sell on pay per view, so I don't want to give them that title shot. Now does it make it easier for a guy like, say, like a guy like Mosar Evloev or whatever that it doesn't really move the needle, but how do you argue that he doesn't deserve a title shot? Does it make it easier for him to get a title shot now?
Yeah, because you don't have to sell it.
Because you still want people to tune in. You still need numbers, so it's not totally. Because I've seen that thing a lot where people are like, oh, well, they don't even have to sell pay per views anymore, so why do they care what the cards look like? You still need to get viewership. Like, you still want people to tune in, but does it make it easier for certain individuals like that don't move? So anyway, there's a lot of stuff to follow next year.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because everybody's wondering if fighters are going to get paid more. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to change the roster size much because it's just a matter of events.
Yeah.
That's kind of, we've talked about that over the years, the formula of how many fights that you need to just get a roster. So it's not like we have a huge extra bunch of money. Now we could start, bringing on extra people. I mean, it's going to be interesting because we know that the people at the top, the guys that run TKO and stuff are going to take a bigger chunk of that money as well. But it'll be interesting to see how things change. So, 2026, I mean, like, as anything, I think all of us that are diehard, we need the sport to survive. We want the sport to thrive. We want the fighters to thrive. We want everything to thrive. So I don't mind when the UFC thrives, but it'll be interesting to see how things look and things change. Are they going to change the whole broadcast package? They've done that in the past when they went to new things. Yeah. So the look, the opens, the entries, everything can be completely different. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like NFL's got like singers coming in and being part of their open. I wouldn't be surprised if they completely change the open to something that's brand new to start the whole era, the Paramount era differently, so that it creates its own iconic sort of like feel that makes it uniquely them. So it's kind of exciting, for those of us that have been watching it for so long. It'd be interesting to see, because I think the UFC always tries to. We've seen it with the Ultimate Fighter and everything. They were always trying to. They didn't want to settle, which is what had been the status quo. They always wanted to step it up and do something different. So I'm interested to see what that means for January. Like, what changes are going to happen, even with just the broadcast product that we're used to seeing.
I am too. It's just fun stuff to see. You talk about the pay. We know that the champions are going to get higher guarantees because there's no more pay-per-view sharing.
More pay-per-view.
So I think a lot of people believe that's a positive. If you think about it, if you're depending on how far you go in this sport, that was the whole thing Randy Couture argued about for years and years. He's like, I don't want to participate on the backside of revenue. I want you to just tell me a number that you're paying me, and that's the number I get. You know what I mean? And their argument was, that's not how we do business. We want you to be financially incentivized to help sell this thing with us, and if you do, you'll get rewarded. So if you think about it, I mean, that was a dispute that Randy Couture had way back in the day. Now that's resolved. So I'm interested in that. You've heard Dana say that the bonuses will be more because we're bringing in more revenue, so that's a very good thing. I've seen, and I think Danny Rubenstein is probably one of the guys that's posted, I think, the most. But I mean, this is not like a novel concept, but I really do think, especially if they're saying that we're reviewing financial packages, but the idea of a finish bonus, it just anybody on the card that gets a finish. I'm not saying it's got to be $50,000, but just something. And again, maybe the bonuses stay $50,000, but we add in $10,000 per finish, or even if it's $5,000 per finish, like just something perfect to keep incentivizing, because that's what fans want to see, right? Not that you can't have great fights that end in a decision, but people want to see the knockouts, they want to see the submissions, and maybe a little bit more money just to push you so that you don't take it easy on, when you're cruising on the cards or whatever the case may be. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that, man. I mean, that reward what people want to see.
I know the UFC probably is trying to get that as a sponsor thing, and then just be able to cover it if they don't get a sponsor for it. But yeah, if you figure if it's a sponsor by, say, if it's even $5,000 a finish, say there's 12 fights, that's $60,000. But to get a sponsor to own up to $60,000 for an event, it's quite a buy. That's a big buy, unless you're like a decent sized thing. But it's the kind of thing, if you get somebody every once in a while to do it, maybe they'll kick in, or find somebody that'll give 25 and the UFC covers 2,500, and then it comes to the $5,000 bonus. I mean, I think there's definitely ways, but yeah, I mean, I think people, if you want fighters to, they've always kind of said that all these bonuses, that's been the incentive to make them want to go above and beyond and make theirs the best one. If we give them one for every just sort of finish, do they still give that same sort of like effort, knowing that they need to be the best of the night? They call it the performance of the night. They don't call it one of the performances of the night, type thing. Like, so I can see where they're trying to, they need to some sort of differentiate between the two of them. They don't want to lessen one, but still there's money to be given around, and if you know that even as a fighter you can get something just by finishing your night, I'd almost be more opposed to just, or just open to give a finish bonus and just get one performance of the night bonus, and just give bonuses for everybody if they get a finish on their night.
Maybe just like maybe just a fight of the night bonus, so that one guy that loses but still has an incredible effort.
Fight of the night,
you know what I mean?
And
maybe
then the outstanding
and,
performance of the night. So 2 bonuses like that, and everybody else gets a finish bonus or whatever.
It'd be cool.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice.
This weekend, UFC Qatar starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I love fights in the morning.
Early.
It's really early.
I didn't realize it was that early.
More like 8, 9 a.m. is a little bit better, but 7 a.m. But
I thought somebody said like 10. I was like, I love 10 a.m. fights, but 7 a.m.'s not the worst. It's not like we're waking up or whatever.
I hope that sometime during the course of the Paramount relationship, they become comfortable with events being
local time.
Again, like college. Like I said, to me, like college football, like during the day. You know what I mean? From what I've heard is that the numbered events, no longer the pay-per-view events, are probably going to stay where they are time-wise, because don't forget there are still pay-per-views in other markets, right? Like I believe Canada is still a pay-per-view market. I can't remember the one, but there's a handful of the pay-per-view markets that are still out there. And the UFC knows that when they change times, it impacts their buys in those markets because people are so dialed into it being that time. But dude, I would love it. And I guess the other challenge with daytime events comes to like selling out a big arena. Like it's tough to sell out a big arena. But if it's like an Apex show, man, let's start that bad boy at like 10 a.m. in the morning. You know what I mean? Let's have the 10 a.m. in the morning for the prelims, 1 p.m. for the main card, and then we're out of here. We're out of the Apex at like 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. It's like college football. You can watch your game during the day, and then you can still have your Saturday night and go out and do whatever. Now, again, if it's in an arena and they're on the road, I don't think they'll do that because people aren't used to, don't go out on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. But if you're just trying to fill up the Apex, like, let's go. Daytime shows.
Let's go.
So this one starts at 7 a.m. Pacific. I will say, all the lead up to this one, I mean, of course, everybody's talking about the main event, Arman Saruk and Dan Hooker. Of course, everybody's talking about Bilal Muhammad and Ian Machado Gary. I think those are the top. Those
almost maybe more so, which is kind of crazy.
Maybe more so. So those are the 2 fights, and I do want to get your thoughts on them in just a second. But I just want to say real quick, this prelim card to me, and honestly, I think the whole card is more interesting than people are maybe giving it credit for. I just think there's a lot of recognizable names, a lot of fun names. I know there's a lot of newcomers that people probably aren't familiar with, but I think these prelims could be full of some absolute action-packed bangers and some finishes and some great fights up and down the card. So I would recommend, even if you're not familiar with all these names on the prelims, at least throw it on in the background, because I think you're going to have some fun watching these fights. And then we get to the main card. We talked a lot about the heavyweight fight and the change that happened there. By the way, because I've been busy doing some CFFC stuff, has it been reported what happened to Sergey Sabiak? Because he did the media day.
Yeah,
it's not like he didn't even show up to fight week. Like he was there and he did media day and everything. But I didn't know if anything was. You haven't seen it either. What might have happened to him?
No, I haven't.
So weird. Such a weird situation. Kyoji Horiguchi is back. Great to see Kyoji Horiguchi back in the UFC. I think he's deserved to be there for quite some time. He is quite the talent. But let's go through the picks. Arman Sarukin versus Dan Hooker. I mean, if you're a fight fan, you love Dan Hooker. There's no question about it, right? Like the dude is going to come to bang.
Yep. You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting. You're getting a fight. But stylistically, this is a pretty tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup. I mean, Hooker's all heart. He wants to stand and bang. I mean, it's not like he's a slouch on the ground, but when it comes to just like the overall just top control and just the control of Sarukin's the guy that nobody wants to fight.
Right.
So it's a tough matchup. Yeah. But I love the fact that Hooker doesn't give a fuck about it.
It's great.
He's just he's one of a kind. I mean, he's taken over that cowboy mantle. I think for that, it's like you need a guy to just get in here and fight somebody. I'll do it. Yep. I feel like he is clearly he's inherited that role. Because this is the fight that a lot of other people don't want to take that fight, but I did lean Sarukin on this one.
I'm taking Sarukin there. Yeah. It's just have to be honest. As much as we love Dan Hooker as a fight.
Yep.
Did you see?
I will not be sad if Dan Hooker pulls something out by any means.
He's such a fun fighter, and look, he's going to scrap, and he's not the kind that's going to mentally break.
He's going to get bloodied up in this one. Both of them are going to just bang on this one. So nobody's going to be leaving with a pretty face on this one.
Did you? If people didn't see it. Dan Hooker when they were asking about the rankings. They're like, oh, what do we? He's like, well, did you see Patty Pimlet's top 5? And he just started cracking up. Like, I was like, that's
Did he?
just like,
I didn't.
oh yeah, he just started laughing. Like Patty Pimlet's top 5. Like, it just started cracking up.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's so right. I mean,
Patty's talked himself up quite a bit, and I think he's just beloved by the.
He is,
you know,
but he is good. But
guys.
Patty's good. Patty's
a good fighter.
Like, I think if people wanted to pass him off as just
a mouthpiece,
just a mouth, and he's
Yep.
not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's good, but it was kind of like that's that kind of Dan Hooker trash talk where it's like it's not even trash talk, but just the fact that you're cracking up. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was pretty good. But I'm taking Armar Saruk in there as well. Bilal Muhammad, Ian Machado Gary, big matchup in the welterweight division. Obviously, a lot's been happening at welterweight. Ian Machado Gary, I said it earlier, I'm a fan. You know, I feel like he gets an unfair rap.
Yep.
I feel like another one that people just try to say, A, he's a mouthpiece, he just talks. B, they don't like the way he talks. You know, I mean, he is very confident, brash. You know, obviously people get into his personal life and his family and all that, which is, you know, weird why people care about that. But and then you have Bilal Muhammad, kind of, I think, obviously under-respected and disrespected, I guess, in many ways.
Yep.
But certainly a talent as well. This is tough, man. This, to
Yeah.
me, I was, to be honest, man, I was a little bit surprised to see the odds on this one.
So was I.
Because I thought this was, to me, in my head, this is, I don't want to say a pick 'em. I'd
Yeah.
probably favor Ian Machado Gary a little bit just because of the
Yep.
size and the speed.
But you'd think it would be closer to a pick 'em.
Yes,
Than,
and
Yeah.
Ian's a huge favorite.
Yeah, I mean, his last performance. Number one, he beat Praches when he was starting. You know, those guys' hype was going through the roof. But I think Bilal, that last performance really sort of hurt him.
Yeah.
I think he just lost. He lost that invincibility. That's just sort of like people are like, oh, the guy's just. He's going to run through people. He's going to be the champ that we thought he was going to be. And
Right.
then he got beat by a guy that just looked better on his feet, and then he just couldn't take him down. It was just like, okay, well, wow, he's not the guy that we thought he was. He obviously is that guy. He just had a bad night, you know. But in this particular case, man, Gary, that last time I saw Gary, I was just like, man, I got to stop doubting this kid.
Yep.
You know, he's going against these guys. I think they're going to be too much, and he showed he had good skills to be able to get up if someone gets him down, but just his speed on his feet and his creativity, I really appreciate and enjoy what he does when he's on his feet. He just seems to see the game at a different speed, you know. So I've stopped doubting him on that, and I think that this is the ones, and especially Bilal, even though Ian's like, I don't believe him when Bilal's like, I'm going to stand and strike, I'm going to knock him out or whatever. Like, he's like, bro, I know you're not going to do that. But if it did, I give that just even more so where I would lean in Ian's, you know, favor, because when it comes to just the sharpness and just having the tools standing, I think he's I hate when I say levels above,
Yep.
but he's a step above.
Yep, step above.
A step above Bilal,
Yep.
you know. So if a Bilal's coming out there saying like, oh, I'm not going to try to do what I should, even though people said the same thing about Islam in Islam's last fight, you know, against JDM, like, oh, you know, is he going to stand and bang? He's clearly got good hands, but he said, screw this, I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to win this. And if it looks boring and it's dominating, I don't care.
Yep.
You know, and that's what Bilal needs to do in this one, and just say,
Completely
I don't
agree.
care that it looks boring. I don't need to stand and bang. Let me just do what got me to the title, you know?
Completely agree.
But if he's like, oh, he wants to show his hands and he's in love with his hands and he gets that, that's even more so why I would stick with Gary. But yeah, I went with Gary on this one.
I get it, and so there's two things. So and you're spot on with that. Like I wonder if there's two things that Bilal said that I thought were interesting. One was Bilal again was saying like the same thing like you said before. I'm going to stand and trade, and I can beat him on the feet. And I was like, oh, I don't know. The other thing I thought was really interesting. I don't know if you saw this. Twice during his media day, he was asked directly if he would fight Islam Makhachev, and both times he said he said the only fight I'm worried about right now is Ian Gary, right? And so it made me think, is he changing his mind? Because before it was like, I'll never fight that team. They've done too much for me. Like, I'll never fight him. Has he changed his mind, realizing that, like, well, maybe our paths are just going to have to cross because that's the way it is? Or is that just smart because you know Dana White and the UFC don't want to hear you as a top contender say,
Yep.
I'm not fighting the
I'm not going
champion.
to fight the champ.
Right? So I was like, I wonder if he's really changing his mind. Because, again, no, he didn't say, yes, I would, but he also didn't come out and vehemently say, absolutely, I would not. So I wondered if, A, he's changing, and he might, or B, he just knows it is not in my best interest to sit up here and say, I'm absolutely not willing to fight the champion.
Yep.
You know?
I agree with that. And I think it's just at this point, like I think that, if they're not bestest of buds, at some point it's just say like, if you want to be the champ, you got to be willing to say I'm going to fight the champ. And at this point, who knows what Makhachev's long-term plans are? He could be trying to plan for his next going up event,
True.
So I mean, like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, that would be interesting because, but we said the same thing going in that fight. If people thought that JDM going in Islam was the same fight that they saw with Bilal, clearly that was not the case.
That was not the same.
That was clearly not the
same.
case. I mean, Islam looked amazing. That was just the perfect performance. But that's the kind of stuff that anybody right there, I could see where I would be thinking about other things than fighting that guy at that top. But
that was amazing, man. That performance was amazing. Because the Islam fight, it was funny because the Islam fight, everybody I talked to was like, Jack Della. I was like, I don't know. Like, it's
he's
still
bigger,
Islam.
he's stronger.
And I was like, but it's Islam, you know? And so he went out and did that, and I was like, okay, good. I'm not crazy. But Valentina over Zhang Weili, I did not see that for a second, man. I was like, that one shocked me. I just did not see that performance.
I thought that I had picked her going into it, and I felt that she had – I was thinking that the strength would maybe be there, but we've seen – Weili just be so incredibly strong, but that's Valentina's real weight,
Crazy,
man. And she's just big and she's dominant. And she's so focused. I think that, the loss that she took to Alexa just changed things. I think she needed that to just sort of just like snap out and be like, okay, was I complacent in something? Was there something that I wasn't paying 110%?
Because after 30-plus years as a martial artist, you might get a little complacent from time to time.
Well, you're just used to being that good, you know. You often wonder because they say, are you still hungry? Are you still grinding? Are you still like the young lion that's trying to whatever? And seeing her now after that, it's just amazing. But to think that it would be like Weili just I wouldn't say that she wasn't in the fight, but she just didn't feel like she had shown up. She didn't look.
And
she
to me,
looked like a fraction of her former self.
Looked almost shell shocked in between rounds. You know what I mean? Like just like
she felt the power and then just dominant. When she got on the ground, it was just like, where is it? Where is it? But watching, I was like, holy cow, this is going to be 5 rounds of this or whatever. But I was like, Valentina, man, amazing performance.
It's funny because I see people start to talk about her and Kayla Harrison potentially. Obviously, it sounds like it's going to be Kayla and Amanda Nunes in January is what we're hearing. And obviously, Kayla would have to beat Amanda Nunes at that point. I guess you could do Amanda and Valentina again if Amanda won and wanted to keep fighting. I don't know if Amanda's coming back as a one-off or she's coming back as like a run. I don't know. But if Kayla were to beat Amanda, Kayla and Valentina, I mean, and again, I'm probably like driver number one on the Kayla Harrison bandwagon. Like, I've just been such a fan of her from day one. You know what I mean?
She's such a badass.
She's such a badass. So her personality, her all of it, the whole package. So I might be looking at it from a fanboy perspective, but I feel like Kayla would just be way too big for Valentina.
100%.
Okay, so I'm not crazy, right?
No. I mean, I'm not picking anybody against Kayla at this point right now.
Either.
Not even Amanda. I think Amanda's amazing, but Amanda stepped away at the game at the right point. I think come back, get some money in that pocket. I don't think it's going to go away because Kayla's not stupid enough to just try to stay standing all day. She's going to do what she does, and she don't give two shits about it. Like, I'm going to get you down. I'm going to dominate you. And I'm going to submit you in some particular fashion, or I'm going to just ground and pound you. She's just so impressive. It's like what Islam does. Could Islam had positioned himself into a position where he could have just kept doing more strikes, or just grind you the F out and eventually take your back or something. Kayla's just so strong. She's so big. She's so dominating, and she's a freaking Olympic gold medalist for a reason, dude.
Twice.
You know, just one.
Like, not just one.
Yeah, so and I'm not picking anybody against Kayla right now until, sometime in the distant future, old man time will show up.
Right.
Just like it comes to everybody, but that is not her time right now, right? She is still in peak physical form. Same thing with Cyborg. It's the same thing that happened to Cyborg. Cyborg was just too big and too strong for everybody. And she still has moments of greatness, but, at the end of the day, Cyborg's not what she used to be. And it's just, old man time shows up eventually. But Kayla's a dog. But, yeah, Kayla and Valentina would be fun if it stayed on the feet. And Valentina was able to kind of dance around and get some strikes. It'd be interesting to see her sort of hurt. I think she would hurt Kayla if it stands on the feet. But Kayla's got some power. But Kayla will get her down.
I would think, even though, and I'm with you, I would pick Kayla. There's nobody I'd pick against Kayla right now. Nobody. But I would probably, if you're like, okay, well, you have to pick one. You have to either pick Amanda or Valentina. You're not allowed to pick Kayla twice. I'd probably pick Amanda just because she has that one shot,
Amanda.
right?
Yep.
Valentina could absolutely completely outstrike her.
Yep.
But I don't think she would knock her out. I
Yep.
think she would just pepper her over.
And I think Valentina's got the skills to make it to where she'll take it to a decision.
Yeah.
She has the skills to make it to where it's a fight, and she won't get finished.
Right.
She can fight that stuff, but she could still clearly get dominated for 5 rounds or whatever. But
Amanda can clip you with one shot.
Yep.
With one shot. So.
Yep.
Well, that'll all play out in 2026. I guess we'll round out the picks real quick. Jack Hermanson, I skipped over Volkan Oezdemir, Alonzo Minifield.
I went Oezdemir.
It's a tough one. I mean,
it is tough. I
have a hard time reading Alonzo. Sometimes he looks like amazing, and sometimes I'm like, are you going to throw a punch today, or what are we doing here?
And he's so good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got great power. Yeah, I just think if he could get in there and hurt him and show that speed, and I just feel like I think he still doubts his strength and his power.
I do too.
But maybe it's the chin. Maybe he's afraid that if he gets caught on the chin that he can be dropped, and so he doesn't want to just go guns blazing. But I figured if he went guns blazing, I think he would finish a lot more dudes quicker.
Too.
But I think I think the seasoned vet Oezdemir, who has power in his hands as well, I think he's just going to be smart, and I think he's gonna. Yeah, I think he'll wear him down.
I like your read on that one. Jack Hermanson makes the move down to welterweight and gets Miktabek Oralby in his debut, which is like, I don't want to say I'm surprised Jack took this fight, but there's no name value whatsoever in beating Miktabek Oralby, and that dude is good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So to be moving down to a division and drawing this, I mean, not that there's any easy fight in the UFC, but I was like, ooh, this is a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, there's 10 years age difference. And let's see.
That's not good.
Jack is the taller dude. He's listed at 6'1". Miktabek, man, 5'8" doesn't, or 5'10" doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right either.
It doesn't sound right. I would assume he's taller than me, and that doesn't make any sense. But he's so good. He's so good. I think that this kid has the capability of if he has the right fights ahead of him, I think he could put himself in contention to get a title. I'm that confident, and he's that good. But yeah, I went with Oralby on this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't blame you on that one. Even though he's kind of moving up a little bit, it's against the guy that's moving down. I just feel like he packs more power, and he's just a dog. Interesting fight. I'm intrigued by that one. And then talked about that fight. Tagir Ulanbekov, Kyoji Horiguchi. That's a tough one too, right? Because Horiguchi hasn't been in the UFC. Ulanbekov is one of those guys that's like really good, kind of underrated, not underrespected sometimes too.
And I think he's going to get the boost over in that region. But Horiguchi is used to fighting all over the world. I think he's just a veteran. I think he shows up in fights that people think he's not going to win, and he wins. And so I voted that I picked that Horiguchi was going to do that.
I like
one.
it.
But yeah,
I think I'd take the same. Even though that's a tough
I just
matchup.
think he's such a fucking. I love that dude. He's just such a good fighter. You know, it's always going to be fun. Like the kid just bangs, man.
Yep.
I feel like we've watched him for so many years through so many different promotions, and the one constant thing is that you always know what you're going to get with one of his fights. And if Tagir tries to even sort of like make it a grindy, slow fight, Kyoji's going to separate, and he's just going to fucking smash. But who knows?
I hated seeing Horiguchi leave the UFC, but I know he got paid really well over in Japan, and so that was
good for him.
Better for him.
And then he's back. He's back where he belonged, So
he's back. So. All right, listen, I got to run. I've got some appointments I got to get to, but definitely we'll be watching this weekend, and I think it's going to be a fun one. So even if maybe you didn't think that you cared too much about this card, I think you should tune in and watch.
It's a good card,
I think it's actually
a good card.
I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and we'll certainly get together next week. I believe you're off for a little family vacation next week, right?
Yeah,
so
going to sneak out to the old Nashville area and see my mom and my brother, and I get to have an excuse to go drink down in Nashville because I get in there midweek, and my brother, he's like, I messed up my days, so he's like you could just Uber to the house, or you could do whatever. I was like, how about I just Uber downtown and you meet me in downtown and we have some drinks. And it's funny, he was like, why don't you come to the hospital, because he's a nurse now after he retired out of the military. He's like, why don't you come and you can get the car and I'll Uber down to meet you so you can just put all your shit in the car. And I was like, that's even better. I was like, I'm not taking a lot of stuff, but I was like, if you ask me like whether if I had the chance to just Uber back to way out in Murfreesboro or go downtown in Nashville and carry my duffel bag and my little computer bag, I'm not scared about that. I would do that. Like, I don't care. I'd rather go enjoy Nashville. So we're gonna get there and get my start the trip home with some drinking in Nashville.
I like
and
it.
then of course gonna see mom and have some good
Gotta
food.
get
But
that
just a
family
short
time in when you
little trip. You really got to do it, man. As much as the schedule, and that's the thing. Even that's why I appreciate you take the time off to do the things with the family, because MMA is going to be there.
Yep.
The work's going to be there.
Yep.
But your family's not always going to be there. So I'm trying to be better about that. So I'm looking forward to go and eat some good food, see mom, and do some drinking in Nashville.
I love it.
I love Nashville. Nashville's a cool town.
It is a good town. It's a good town. Well, we'll certainly we'll do a little remote recording. We'll check in with you.
I'll sober up for it. If I'm at mom's house when we're taping, I'll be okay.
You just let me know. I don't have much going on next week, so you just let me know what kind of state you're in, and I'll try to match your energy.
Well, I wonder, too, because we normally tape on Thursday, but that would be Thanksgiving, so maybe we'll go early.
Do like Wednesday or something?
Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I'll definitely be drinking.
You let me know. I might have to match that energy with you. My kid will be out of school, so not like I have to go pick him up. Not like I can go pick him up later on or taking anything. So that might be the case.
Let's go.
Let's go. Everybody watch. And it'll be an off week for the UFC too, so we can just talk about whatever's going on. We'll recap what happened here, talk about the headlines and whatever else might come up. We'll talk about the holidays. So anyway, everybody enjoy the card, and thanks for listening.